to YouTube, so we'll be live on YouTube momentarily as well. So we'll be good here in a second. So we'll just have to make sure that that YouTube audio doesn't come back around to us like it normally does once the live stream starts.
Let's not do that.
So let's see let's see how that goes. At the moment, my technical difficulties is my iPad does not want to load up the Zoom meeting so that I can follow the questions along. But I was like, I have it pulled up on my phone. I just don't want to look at my phone because that seems very rude. But it's like if I must, I will.
Are they're just in the chat?
Yeah, everyone's going to be just in the chat right now. So hello, everyone watching. Go ahead and drop where you're joining us from today. Amber and I are back in the Horizon Trust studio. So we're here to kind of just have a conversation today. Like we don't really have too much plan. We're just going to have a conversation and we're going to just have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We had some great feedback during the last webinar that Kelsey was with us also.
Yeah.
We talked about LLCs that time, but it was just it was a great time that we all just, had conversations. Like that's all it was.
Yeah.
So I think it was good.
Like any day in the office.
It really is. Except you guys are now a part of it as well. So welcome to our day in the lives of your Horizon Trust staff that is kicking off conversations here. So we'll just give it a couple moments just to make sure that everyone is there. I am being told that we are good on YouTube as well, so we're good there. So we'll just give it a few moments and then we'll kind of kick it off here.
Do you want the questions in the Q&A or in the chat box?
We have both options, but the chat will always work better. I do see some already in the Q&A, so we can definitely get around to those as well. But the chat is 100% more ideal for that situation. So we'll definitely take a look at that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So,
hi, Michael. He's ready. He
is.
He's like,
he jumped on and he's already asked his question. So he's like, you guys are going to see my question. Let's see. All right. So we'll give it like 2 more minutes. So I guess just while we wait, something exciting that's happening here at the office this week that you guys don't know is once a quarter, we actually get together. We get the entire company together in our Las Vegas office. We meet, we kind of plan, we strategize our next quarterly, and then we just plan out where we want to be in the foreseeable kind of future, like what we're doing, what we can improve on. These webinars are definitely one of those talking points that have always been on the forefront of our mind. We've always wanted to provide more value, more education, and more information to our clients because that's what you ask us of us.
Yeah.
We have identified numerous times, and we will continue to identify that we are a passive custodian. So
disclaimer's coming.
Yeah, disclaimer is coming. So which actually, can we pop up the disclaimer on the screen? It's going to be that still button. So right next to it. So normally I'm behind the cameras and I have the wonderful Alicia helping us today. So thank you, Alicia, for getting that. But yeah, so we do have our little disclaimer on the screen right now. So we are a passive custodian, and as such, we can't provide advice, sell investments, or anything like that. So you do have to do your own due diligence. The one thing we can provide and give, and the one thing that we do give, is information. I was like, that is the
education,
the education and the information for what you can do with the vehicle of self-directing, because that's what this is. We are a vehicle. It's self-directing isn't a special type of account. That there's often confusion around that we have a special account. It's not where your normal traditional IRA, where your normal Roth IRA, your normal 401k account. The only difference is that we are a self-directed custodian. So you use those vehicles to self-direct.
Yep. I like how Greg put it. Self-directing is not a type of account. It's not an IRA is a type of account. A Roth is a type of account. Self-directing is just a descriptive word in front of that type of account. So
yeah, no, and
when he said that, I was like, oh, that's so perfect, because that's exactly what it is. People always think it's like a different type. Like you're still an IRA, you're still a Roth, you're still a 401k.
Yeah.
It's just now you have more control of that account.
Yeah, so you having that account with Vanguard or Fidelity or wherever you might be, that accounts can still come to us. It can still exist here. The only difference is that here you are in control and you're in that driver's seat, managing that money and, hopefully paying less in fees compared to paying
I
your.
would say so, yeah.
We do.
Because
We do have
all
less in
the
fees.
stocks and everything, like I would say in my experience, like it's a lot of hidden fees. You don't realize all the fees that you're paying because you're paying it on each stock. You're paying it, I've seen accounts that, especially the higher accounts, you don't even realize that the maintenance fees are, coming out and it's $3,000 or something. And I've looked at statements and I'm like, do you realize you're getting charged $3,000 out of this account here? So it just, yeah, definitely big difference.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we have uh seen with some of our new clients, that when they are kind of leaving their other custodian, once they finally have made that leap to come over here to us, that they do recognize that they have lost some money in their fees, or they're like, hey, my account statement said this, or my account value said this, why did you guys get a check for this amount? And we're like, well, there must be something on the statement, so look at your new statement. And they look at it and it's like fee. So it's like you lose all these other fees and the hidden fees that you don't necessarily think you're paying.
Yeah.
So they're definitely there. So we have that value for
Yeah.
you.
It's all inclusive. It's nice that
Yeah,
it covers everything.
for sure.
It's not nickel and diming everyone, which I think, like, even when I don't think I'm loud enough, everyone. Getting yelled at by tech here.
Just scoot over a little bit.
Scoot over.
Yeah, and then you should be good.
But yeah, like a lot of times, I made me lost my train of thought. But with the fees, it's all nickel and dimed
Nickel and
everywhere. And
dimed.
I think that's where I was going with it. I think we used to do it that way, and most custodians, even self-directed ones,
Still.
kind of nickel and dime everything, and we found it to be a better experience when we just have that all-inclusive fee versus
Yeah, absolutely.
everything mixed
And
in.
I want to continue on that real quick, but just for anyone that is watching right now, this is actually being recorded. So we can send you a recording afterwards. We'll send out an email with all that information. And again, this is always live streamed to YouTube. So the second this ends, that live stream is available on YouTube. It's under Horizon Herleen. So just go ahead and look us up on YouTube. And you can find it there. If not, we'll send you a replay later this week with all that information that we cover on today's episode.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yes, every time.
Say that.
Listen, that's good.
Like
I'm
and
just gonna
subscribe.
every time you're on here, I'm even gonna have you.
What do they do?
Yeah,
The thumbs. I
yeah.
don't watch enough YouTube.
Every time that we do a webinar, I'm just gonna have you come in, do like and subscribe,
Like
and then
and
we'll walk back out. Like that's gonna be your mic drop moment.
Just jump in. Just do a pop in.
Yeah. No,
I
but
love it.
you're 100% right with that nickel and diming of accounts. And we did used to do that. And it was frustrating on our side. It was frustrating on the client side.
Yeah.
It was not a good experience overall. And we want you to have a good experience. You,
100%.
if you had a traditional account with another custodian, like you already know that experience. Self-directing is a new vehicle, a new type that you don't necessarily know. So you want to make sure that you're, taking advantage of everything that it has. And nickel and diming you just kind of defeats some of that purpose.
We want it to be a nice, smooth process, a happy process. So
but yeah, so kind of in our conversation, so we touched on fees right there, and like cool fees, we have less, so that's always good to know. But what are some things that we can kind of do with self-directing? We were kind of talking about this earlier. So
yeah, I would say, so with self-directing, obviously, as we mentioned, it means that you're taking control of your account. So, we don't have necessarily a menu of stocks or investments like you would see with a typical custodian like Fidelity. We see most of our clients, I would say, getting involved in real estate. That's a huge investment opportunity for our clients, because you can't do that with a traditional IRA or a traditional type of account. You need a self-directed account for that. And so they come to us, and that's typically what they want to do. They want to get invested in promissory notes, LLC investments, syndication deals, REITs, whatever it may be. buying real property or rental properties, wholesaling, flipping, you gotta be a little careful with. So that would be something we can dig into more in a consultation. But there are so many different things, and whenever I'm having these conversations, my first consultation, I would say more than anything, people are just shocked by the amount of things that you can do in your retirement plan. They're like, oh, I can do that, I can do this. You can buy precious metals, you can invest in oil and gas. One of our clients, she's actually not my personal client, but she invested in a mango farm. And to this day, I'm like, I need to call her, because if you're on here, call me, because I am so interested in this investment. But she was able to invest in a mango farm, and there's details of how that was able to pass. But again, as long as you are hands off, and this is in a sense a passive investment that's going back into your retirement account for the growth of that account, then you can invest in so much. So it's so neat.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely fascinating to kind of see and hear what some of these investments are that our clients are doing, because some of you get really creative in your investments. You're like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Get creative.
That mango one was a very creative one.
It was.
Another one that is
And
very,
then I think she must have referred some of her family over, because for a minute I was seeing all these mango investments come in, and I was like, what's going on with this mango farm thing? Like,
okay, well,
so
something that Amber just said there, it's you truly want to stay passive.
Yeah.
So that mango farm, like, you're not necessarily going to be the person out there.
You're not planting the seeds, you're not picking the mangoes.
Exactly.
It's actually, I think it's all overseas, which was interesting. It's not even here in the US. So they completely did the whole, I went and looked on the website because I was very interested to learn more.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing.
Learning, even after being in the industry for so many years, there's always more to learn. So
yeah, no, it's
and like you said, there's so many different investments, and people get creative. There's a lot that you can do.
No, they really do. And kind of syndications in the real estate deals, like that's the one that we see the most of.
Yeah.
And that's the one where, like, yes, the mango farms is the creative one, and that's the curveball that we see, and we're like, how did you even find this investment? But good for you for doing so. But the real estate ones, those get
that's every day,
very
all day.
creative, all day, every day. You have syndications, promissory notes. Well, you mentioned it. It was like anything and everything. The flipping one. That's the you got to be careful.
This is a live webinar.
Yeah, live webinar.
You're gonna have me down now.
No. I was like, well, even flipping, you can still kind of do. That's still somewhat passive, especially if you have.
As long as you're not running an active business through your retirement plan. We can't be doing 5-6 flips a year in your retirement plan. You're running a business at that point. Like, just be honest with yourself in that.
Yeah, and then there's flipping, and then the next level is wholesaling, which wholesaling is a very active business because you are very actively looking for that investment. Whereas in flipping, you're still kind of holding a property for a couple months. You're still holding it for, depending on the renovations and whatever the property needs, it's always going to be holding a little bit more. Whereas wholesaling, you're just selling the contract to buy the property. So, that's a quick return for your account. So it's a quick growth.
Good way to grow.
For sure. So, do your due diligence, make sure you're not active in your investments. And, always speak with us, whether you're a new client or an existing client. You can give us a call. We can go over what you're trying to do and just make sure that it is kind of something that you legally can do.
Yeah.
So we always
tell clients, like, we can't advise you. We can't tell you what to go invest in. I can't say, hey, John Doe's got this great syndication, you should jump in. But I can tell you, if you call in and you ask about something that's definitely prohibited, I feel like that's an easy thing to say. No, can't loan money to your mom. Like, major red flag. Don't do that.
Yeah. Loans is another one. We're gonna have to do a whole webinar just prohibited transactions. Most likely.
That would actually be a good idea. What do y'all think about that? Should we do a webinar on prohibited transactions?
Yeah, give us a 1 in the chat if you want to see a webinar on prohibited transactions. We'll have to definitely have some compliance officers in here because that's definitely a big topic. And if you're watching this replay on YouTube, go ahead and drop a yes in the chat as well. We definitely want to see that as well and see how much interest there is and how much value you're going to get out of that. So Amber, kind of one of the things that we were kind of talking about today was we wanted to see what the process was, because a lot of people that are attending this, they get lost somewhere along the process, or they haven't even been through it at all.
Mhm.
So, kind of what does that process look? So, we'll actually drop a link in our chat. So
You
if
knew where I was going to go with that. Schedule an appointment.
yes, so if
First
you're
and foremost, I need to talk to you individually because everyone's situation is different. You know, we've all worked at different places. There's different types of retirement accounts. The standard, yeah, previous 401k, IRA, Roth, but you know, we get, well, what about my 403p? What about my TSP? You know, all these little there's just so many different accounts and different custodians. So it's nice to again just have those one-on-ones to really determine what's the best plan for you and you know what are your goals. I think anytime I get on the phone it's like you know very very structured in that sense. I'm like, okay, well, what do you know about us? Let's start there. Like, what do you know about self-directing in general? Because most people don't know anything, and or they're new to it. They're just, you know, learning from these type of webinars or all the internet information. And then, you know, just really digging into what type of account do you have? You know, what are your goals? Making sure this is for you because it is, you know, you're completely in control. And I think sometimes that can be a little bit scary for people. Like they're used to having a financial advisor to manage their accounts for them. You know, we kind of grow up and it's like, oh, you get a job, you get a 401k. Hopefully your job offers that 401k, I guess, first off. And then you just start dumping money into it and you pick some stocks kind of random. Well, maybe I'm just speaking from my own experience. I think when I first started my 401k, I had no idea. I was like 25 and I just was like, pick. And I just really had no idea. And so, you know, going into a self-directed account where you're fully in control, it's just important to identify that, you know, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do with this? Because I can only take you to that fine line, you know, and I always tell my clients, that's why I encourage everyone, jump on these webinars. This is what we can do as your custodian to educate you is bring speakers on, you know, bring guest speakers, bring our team on here to talk about what we see on a day-to-day basis, things like that. Just to give some options inside some ideas in a sense, you know, like here's what other people are doing with their accounts and you know, you can vet that out and determine if that's something that
yeah,
you want to do, you
yeah,
know.
absolutely. And kind of right now that you brought up that point, I'm glad that you're telling your new clients about these webinars
Yes,
because some of them might even be
I
people
hope
that
so.
join from these webinars, and that's what makes them sign
The
up.
name with the face.
Yeah, there you go. This is Amber. I'm Alex. So if you'll hear me answering your customer service
Get a
calls.
fancy name tag. I want need like a little stand.
We're gonna have to do that
Amber.
we're gonna have to do that for the next one for sure. But no, I lost my train of
Sorry,
thought. No, you're good.
telling people about the webinars.
But yes, we do tell the people about the webinars, and so I'm glad that you're telling them and that we're mentioning them. And we, for those of you that signed up, maybe you saw an alert or something when you
Mhm.
signed up, but we have now committed to giving you this education on a bi-weekly basis. This 4 o'clock time is pretty much going to be set. If we have to make changes for whatever scheduling conflict might pop up, we'll definitely send out a notice. And if
Yeah.
we make the modification, your invite will also be modified. But for the most part, it's going to be this time every other Tuesday. So we'll have another one in 2 weeks. And it's just going to relay this same information for you that we're kind of outlining right now. In 2 weeks, Greg is going to be on and he's going to be talking with someone else that's kind of working within the space. So he has a self-directed account as well. He's used it for real estate deals
So a
as
guest
well.
speaker, I like it.
We have a guest
I like
speaker
it.
coming
Those are
on.
my favorite. You know, I mean, I love to come on and educate and you know, really just what I go through on my day-to-day process. But the guest speakers, that's where the golden nugget is.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, and they definitely provide value because
They
we can
do.
we can talk all day and we can
Yeah.
have a conversation all day about self-directing, the pros, the cons, the the beauty and the ugly, whatever it may
Mhm.
be. Like we can have that all day, but the guest speakers will provide that outside knowledge, the
Yes.
knowledge that we can't provide
Yeah.
because of our role.
Because of our disclaimers.
Because of our disclaimers. So we still provide that disclaimer and saying this is informational
Yes.
and for you to do your own research, but they provide that value that says, hey, this is very interesting. I want to learn more. Let me get in contact with this individual and do more.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you kind of mentioned that to your clients, and I'm hoping.
Do. And I think it's like it's tough being on my side because I want to be able to provide more. And that's really the only legal way I can. You know, I can't say, hey, invest with John Doe. I can't give you the list of private money lenders like I would love to be able to do. And I know we're working on things on the back end with, you know, some marketing tools, but ultimately that's what we can do. And so I think it's so great that our company is really striving for that this year to just provide these webinars and provide the education, have these speakers come on and just give more options.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of getting back to the topic on
sorry.
hand. No, you're good. Listen, the conversation's good. I'm never going to interrupt the conversation. So we're flowing, and so we've definitely hit on the unique situations of individuals.
Yes.
Everyone does have a unique situation. In these webinars, we try to generalize all of that information because we want to target everyone with the information that we're providing. But as mentioned, your situation is always going to be unique from the next person's. So that's why you want to book a call. So if you are a new person and you're interested in learning more, go ahead and use that link that was dropped into the chat. We'll also have that linked on the YouTube if you're watching the replay right now. And you can go ahead and click that. If you are an existing client and you want more information, you can always email us as well, operations@horizontrust.com. It's the standard email that you use for everything, for your investments, or whenever you need to get in contact with us. So you can reach out through there and kind of schedule with our team to speak with them as well. So we definitely have those options. Now, kind of going back, we mentioned qualified funds a little bit. So I want to kind of expand on that a little bit and like what you were trying to kind of get at with those qualified funds. Because
yeah, when we're going through that and again asking what type of accounts and we're looking at qualified funds, not every account is eligible to move over. So if you're still with your current employer, for example, I'm sure if anyone's been on these webinars before, we always talk about that because people get excited. You know, they're still working. They want to jump into real estate. They want to get out of the stock market, but their 401k is tied up with their current employer. And because your employer is sponsoring that 401k plan, you're not eligible to move it over into another vehicle like a self-directed account. So you do have to wait until you leave that position. Sometimes if you're over 59 and a half, they will let you do, you know, do a transfer. But again, if you're in that boat, schedule a call because we really have to go into that a little bit deeper. But we're looking at qualified plan or qualified funds. We're looking at old accounts, you know, an IRA that is just in the stock market that's not performing, a Roth account, a SEP, a simple IRA, a previous 401k, just to kind of name a few. So those are the I would say qualifying funds that you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all qualified funds. We can roll all of those over. There's no tax consequences for it. So a lot of times when I get on the phone with clients, they're like, oh, like, am I going to get hit with penalties for moving this money over? You're not. You're simply just moving from one qualified plan to another. There's no tax penalties. You're not taking an early distribution where you're getting that 10% penalty and paying taxes or anything like that. Simply switching banks in a sense, you know, one bank, I don't want to be at Wells Fargo anymore. I'm going over to Chase. That's all we're doing is just moving from one qualified account to another. So no implications for that, which I think is important.
Yeah, which is very
know.
helpful. And one of the things that actually came up this week, so you brought up some great points, but we just had a meeting yesterday and we identified something within our own company that is almost unique to any other. We have our transfers team. Our transfers team is very well educated with how to bring over your money. So after you've kind of spoken with Amber or a specialist and you've opened that account, they're going to help guide you through that process of getting your money over here in the easiest manner possible. I won't necessarily say the smoothest, but the easiest.
Not from our side. It's all the other custodians.
It is.
I blame them.
It is. Our team is.
Our team's phenomenal, and
they have fine-tuned this process over years of working on it and working with clients like you, new clients and existing clients as well. Because you're even once you've moved money over, you can still move more money over. You don't have to necessarily move it all at once or anything like that. So you always have that that option.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of clients think that or that you can't go back and forth. That's another thing. It's like once you go self-directed, it doesn't mean you're stuck being self-directed forever. You can have more than one account. You can have an account with Fidelity and keep some of your money in stocks, and you can move half your account or whatever value you want to a self-directed vehicle and invest those funds in alternative assets. It's diversifying. You can have some money in stocks, have money in real estate, have money in precious metals. I think it's important, honestly, to have all of them. I'm not saying just put all your money in a syndication deal or whatever it may be. Diversify, that's the whole goal, is having different streams of income coming in as you get to retirement age.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. We have one of our team members who actually has a self-directed account here with us and diversifies her own portfolio, so that even her investments, while they are themselves diverse, they are also paying out at different intervals. So she doesn't commit herself to 1 or 2 or 3 5-year terms. She has some short-term agreements. She has some long-term agreements. So it's whatever the term is going to be that's going to make the most sense to grow the retirement account. That's what you always want to consider. You always want to be looking at that and making sure that your investments are growing. If you really want to just take that back seat, then find that one perfect investment that's going to pay you the 12% or whatever annualized, 20% annualized interest
we
rate.
see it.
I was like, we do see it. We definitely see it. Our deposits team sees that income coming in every month.
So that's another team we never talk about, that we could not function without them. They're so amazing.
You know what?
They do.
Let's kind of touch on that in a moment.
Okay.
So because you're right, we don't.
Yeah.
That is a huge part of
There's
the
so many
company
different
as well.
moving parts to our company, and
When we have a new hire, they have to go sit through all the departments to fully understand our process. And even then, I feel like we now, as you're still new, you just came to us this year, but I was like, even me, who's been here now 3 years, I just hit my anniversary not too long ago, I kind of want to go back through the rotation and be like, yo, so what's changed since I started?
And now that I understand the flow of everything, because when you're first getting there and learning it all, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. So
anyways, sorry.
So we've gotten to the point, okay, so now we understand qualified funds. You can bring your entire funds amount, or you can bring a partial amount over to us. We are just another vehicle that you can do to diversify your portfolio. It is a portfolio that you can diversify, having your multiple investments. So leave some at Fidelity, keep some in the stocks, leave some at Vanguard with bonds, whatever the case is that works for you and your situation. And you find that one perfect deal that neither of those custodians is going to let you do, then we can do it. And
we'll bring it all over, and you can invest in stocks with us. You can use your self-directed account to invest in stocks as well. It's not that you can't do that here. So
correct.
That's
we definitely do have that. We have a brokerage firm that's listed on our investment corner for our clients to utilize. And we had a really good meeting with them not too long ago. And they told us about the value that comes with their platform. If you want to manage it yourself, you're 100% able to. But if you want someone to still manage it for you, they can jump on a call and talk to you and learn that. So now, while you do have that self-directed vehicle, you still have some assistance from them.
That's a really great feature.
And that was really cool when they told us. So we got a lot of insight from there.
We do.
So what happens next, Amber?
So I think we were talking about the transfer process. Obviously, our team, they get on the phone with these custodians, and this is something that Horizon does that I don't think most custodians do. Clients are always asking what sets you apart from, because we're not the only passive custodian, obviously, just like Fidelity is not the only active custodian. But I think that really client experience really sets us apart. Obviously our all-inclusive fee structure, which we touched on, but our transfer process, we are getting on the phones with the custodians, with the clients. We're filling out all these transfer forms. We really make it as streamlined as possible for our clients, and our team is doing all the follow-ups. So usually you as the client are having to call your custodian on constantly, and did you receive the forms? Did you mail the forms? Did you fax the forms? Like, when's this going out? Our team is doing all of that. So they take so much of the heavy lifting off of our clients to just make it easy for them to focus on going out and getting those investments, finding the investments that once their money is here, boom, they're ready to go. So I just can't say enough. Thanks, Transfers team, if you're watching this. So we couldn't do it without you.
And you ladies are absolutely amazing.
They are.
And as mentioned, they've fine-tuned that process to be as effective and as efficient as possible. And we always recognize opportunities to grow and improve. So we will always take those. And those girls have absolutely
They're
done it.
amazing. I tell clients all the time, because they're like, oh, am I gonna bounce around to a bunch of people? People like to speak with one person. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm your main point of contact. Like, but I have a great team supporting me. I have a great concierge team that's answering phones live because I am on consultations the majority of the time. And so, I might not be able to just take a live call because I've already on a scheduled call. And to that point, I always I say I can't handle the transfer process too because it's so much work. And that's why we have that whole team dedicated just to doing that for us. And so it's so nice.
And that's a good point, that we are a small boutique firm, folks. We're about 35 people within the entire company. So we all work within our respective departments. So Amber is on consultation, speaking with clients just like yourself, giving them information, providing them that value to understand kind of what's going on here. And then every department has been fine-tuned with its own representatives to make sure that they're doing their job as effectively and as efficiently as possible. So you may bounce around if you call in, but you're going to bounce around through one of like 4 people. So you're going to recognize the name depending on how much
you've been here. Like, if you've been a client for a long time, you're like, oh, I've talked to this person, I've talked to that person.
Yeah, and there was one day in particular, the first time that I was actually on a webinar. I did a webinar. I was on here. If some of you were watching, I did a little pop, pop, pop. That was apparently my nervous reaction for that first webinar, where I just couldn't stop saying it. So it became my saying for that webinar.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, our phones were heavy. I assisted on our phones, and someone's like, were you the same Alex that was on the webinar last night? And I was like, I am. And they're like, you weren't kidding. You were on the phones. I was like, no, I am not. We're a small company. We do what we can to assist all of our departments, including.
Which I think it makes it more personal, though. Being a small company, it's like family-owned business type. The small businesses, and just being able to have that relationship with our clients. They're not just a number. Like, you go some of these larger custodians. I won't call any of them out on a live webinar. I'll be kind. But I hear complaints like, oh, I'm always talking to someone else. This is, I feel like I'm just a number and I don't matter. And I feel like with us, everyone really does matter. And we're just.
Yeah, absolutely.
And care is more when you're.
And you guys have been on. I've seen Greg and Steve Little on, and Claudia on, and they're all helping in the day-to-day operations. They're all making sure that everything is flowing. Claudia will also jump in there and answer your phone calls when the support is needed. So we're definitely all hands on deck. We stay within our departments, but are not afraid to move over as needed to assist. And kind of with moving over,
like, what's next?
That was a good little move over segue. So we've now transferred your money.
Your money's here, yeah.
Your money has arrived. So you're notified.
Let's go.
And well, do you know what our deposits process is?
Do I know what our deposit? The money gets in there, and then they magically put it into the account.
No, so you're right. So I did blindside you there just a little bit, but it's
not my department.
It's not her department. However, I do know the department, so we do get your money in. And a lot of people ask.
All I know is I get notified that the money hit, and then I let my clients know, like, let's go, next step.
So the way for us it works is your money comes into a bank account. And the bank account is under Horizon Trust's name because we are the custodian. So it's the same with any other custodian, Fidelity, Vanguard, whatever the case may be. You're always going to be sending the money to that custodian. So the bank accounts are always in their name. The difference is that then you're adding it for the benefit of your account. So that information is crucial. And that's the part that some people sometimes forget. Not our transfers team. They're really good at it because they know what our process is. So they make sure that our forms are always correct to make sure that we have that information. But if you're ever bringing money over to us, you want to make sure that for benefit of and your account information is on there. So my name, it'd be for the benefit of Alex Padilla, Roth IRA, because I have a Roth IRA here at Horizon. And that's kind of how you're going to be funding your account. That's how you're going to be bringing external money in. And I'm saying external as in just money that's not currently with Horizon Trust, because external money could be a contribution. You want to lower your tax burden, or add
Yeah.
to your Roth funds, or you're bringing over transfer funds. So we have that money. So our transfers team goes through literally hundreds of transactions every single day
Yeah.
and enters each one manually, because each transaction is unique.
It's unique. Yeah, exactly.
Unique client, unique asset, unique information. Everything is unique, so it has to be manually done by our deposits team, and they do an amazing job to do that. If we don't have information, we do contact you to try to get that information. So one thing you just want to make sure is that your communication with us is always open, whether it's via email, your phone number, whatever that case may be. Email is always going to be our main point of contact. But if we can't get a hold of you via email, we will send you a text message, we'll send you, or we'll give you a call, whatever the case is, to try and get a hold of you, because we don't want to hold your money.
Yeah,
we want
it to go into your account.
We want you to have your money, and we want you to invest your money.
I like that you brought up kind of the titling, because it kind of flows into what happens next, right? So once the money is here, how do I get the money back out, right? What's that next step look like? And depending, we obviously in this last webinar, we touched on LLCs. So there's a process from moving all of your funds from your Horizon account into an LLC. Check out the old video for that. We don't have time. We did a whole webinar on it.
Yes, we did.
But typically, if you just have an account here and you're wanting to invest your money out, the next step is to do a direction of investment. We also have another team member that is dedicated to just walking you through that direction of investment, especially for the first time. I think it can be a little intimidating. I feel like we've done a great job. All these forms can be found on our website. Everything's form-based. It all has to be tracked. So, it's if you're ever looking for a form, horizontrust.com forms, it's probably on there. But you fill out the direction of investment form. And from there, again, we have one of our team members that is dedicated to walking you through that. It's very detailed. If you're investing in an LLC, you have to provide the supporting documents. And to your point with the titling, it has to be titled in the name of your retirement account. So it shows, Horizon Trust, FBO, for the benefit of Amber Newbig, Roth IRA. Also have a Roth. Roth, it's tax-free money, guys.
Yeah.
Tax-free growth, I should say.
And you want to diversify.
Yes.
Horizon Trust offers a 401k, so I have a 401k through Horizon.
I have a 401k as well.
And then my Roth IRA is
big
for
fan of the Roth. All I can think about is, yes, when I retire, I want tax-free money. So
exactly.
Let's grow that now. But sorry, back to the point. Yes, with the direction of investment, we will walk you through it. After you do one or two, it's really a simple process. It's really about providing those supporting documents that can get a little tricky, because we have to be able to prove that you are utilizing your retirement funds for the benefit of that account. And so again, that's where the titling comes in, showing, hey, it's not Amber Newbig loaning money to Jane Doe. Amber Newbig's retirement account loaning money to Jane Doe, and Jane Doe is going to pay that retirement account back with interest. So yeah, that's pretty much the process. It's very simple.
It's very simple, very straightforward. The forms might look complicated, but they are broken down into sections. So, and that's with all of our forms. It's true of that nature, because you just want to take it section by section. Once you kind of understand each section, it's understandable. Our direction of investment, like you mentioned, so you invest into an LLC, into real estate, whatever the case may be. It even lists what supporting documents are going to be needed for that particular investment. And it might not necessarily list everything. And that's where our transactions team is going to be phenomenal in identifying, once we receive your investment docs, they're going to look through them and say, hey, this says it's secured, but I don't have any securing documents for this property. So that's what we're missing. So then they're going to communicate with you. So it's always going to be very, we're always hands-on. We're always holding your hand and making sure that you understand the process, that you're comfortable with the process, and that we're kind of getting through this as efficiently as possible, because we want your account to succeed. We want you to grow. And, the best way to do that is to just kind of assist you in whatever capacity we can.
So we can't create the promissory note for you, but we can tell you
We can,
What's
we,
missing on
we
it
can tell you to
to make it
Google how to
pass?
find a promissory note.
Exactly.
But yeah, so once your investment is finalized, all docs in good order,
Yep.
we have a verification process. We'll verify it, and that's just the security purposes. We want to make sure that your documents are that your funds, I'm sorry, not your documents, your funds are secured
Mhm.
because your funds are important to you and they're important to us. One wrong number or
Yeah.
one
We
misspelling
need to make sure
and
everything's
something
perfect.
something might go to the wrong place.
Mhm.
So we do a verification process, which just kind of for security purposes, we can't mention during the webinar, but for
I'm
those,
glad you said that. I was about to just,
I know you.
here's what we do.
Yeah, it's a two-step verification. Don't worry, you're probably very familiar with it from a lot of other places.
Everything.
Everything else that you have to do a two-step verification process. But don't be alarmed when it happens. And we're pretty straightforward on it. And we try to help you, and we give you whatever information. So we kind of have all that. Now your investment's out there. You've
Mhm.
made your investment. You've lent to Jane Doe. She
Mhm.
lives at property XYZ at 123 Main Street. And now she's going to be paying rent to you every month.
Mhm.
So that kind of circles back around to our deposits team.
Yeah.
That's why our deposits team has hundreds of transactions every single day.
Money coming in all day.
Money coming in all day, every day from everywhere and everyone. And that money is basically like I said, it just has to be assigned. So Jane Doe is going to still make the check payable or wire ACH, whatever method. She's going to make that payment to Horizon Trust, FBO, Amber Newbig, Roth IRA, because that's who owns the asset
Yep.
at 123 Main Street. And for you, we have two convenient options there. We have our deposit submission form,
Yep.
which is just an electronic form like any other that you can electronically file and sign. And that's good kind of for like one-off situations. But for Jane Doe who lives in a rental property and is going to be sending rental income each month, we also have a deposit coupon. So which you can help pre-fill some of those for her with your information. And then she just has to write in the amount, send that in with the check, and you're good. That one doesn't require a signature. It's just identifying what the money is, where it should be going, and how it should be allocated. Pretty straightforward.
Yep. Or add an LLC.
Or add an LLC and then get the money to the LLC. There you go. I didn't even think about the LLC. You're right.
Oh yeah. Anytime I have clients that are like, I'm gonna put a renter in, I'm like, get an LLC. It's just easier because then they pay the LLC directly those rents, and you don't even have to go through this whole
And then the
submission process.
and then the LLC can manage the property repairs. It makes it a lot easier to pay the contractors and the handyman and whatever the case is.
Whatever is needed for that rental property.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yeah. No, that's
again, those are where the consultations come in. We can really identify what your goals are and what's the best plan for you. So,
and this is why she does the consultations and why I do the webinars and have her on, because she identifies that where I don't.
Do you want to add anything else, or do you want to jump to questions?
Before I jump into questions, the one last thing I do want to mention, we touched on it briefly last time, but annual valuations. That's another big one that most clients don't often think about. It's right now, this time of the year, we are due actually by the end of this month for us if your fair market valuations. So if you have an account, you want to make sure your account value is always up to date, that your property value is listed correctly, that your LLC value is listed correctly. All of that information, you want to make sure that you're relaying proper information, because we're going to be reporting everything to the IRS, and you want to make sure that the IRS is seeing that accurate reporting. Whether your account has lost or gained value, you always want to do that. So that's the only thing.
Especially if you have an LLC, I think that's where it's most important, because we are like, if you have assets just in your account here, we can see that that asset's probably accurate, right? Versus an LLC, we're very much blind to that. We don't know if, you sold that property and made 100,000, or, or it's went up in $100,000 in value, and you hold on to it, whatever that may be.
Yeah. So those valuations are very important. Again, that's another form listed on our website, and it has detailed kind of outlines on
Mhm.
how to complete the form. So we try to make the process
And
as easy as
concierge
possible.
is really great at
But yes,
walking everyone through that. They've been getting so many calls for fair market
Tis-
value reports,
tis the
and
season.
yeah, the season.
Uh,
So you can always call into our office. Is the point of that. If you do have questions, we're always here to answer questions for you. So, or as you mentioned, even emailing. Take my mic out here. Emailing operations. That's always a great way to quickly get in contact with us and get a response.
Yeah. Yeah. And our concierge team's amazing.
Mhm.
They kind of go through those emails relatively quick,
They
within
do.
almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
We even come back like on a Monday after a weekend,
Mhm.
because we are closed on weekends.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, every email that came in over the weekend has
They
been
knock it out. They're
addressed. Yeah.
awesome.
They definitely are amazing. So kind of want to start not wrapping up,
Sure.
but we have time for questions. We
Yeah,
have about like 15
I
minutes or
think there was
so.
a few in
So
there.
there's a few in the Q&A from Michael. He definitely fired away some questions. So we'll take your
I
questions,
love it.
Michael. And then
Okay.
if you have any other questions you guys want to drop into the chat or in the Q&A, we can definitely look through them and answer them as well. So
Oh,
have it pulled up.
HSA. I do.
HSA, there you go. Uh,
Hit me with the HSA, Michael.
so that was one of the ones that was like kind of right at the beginning, that
Yes.
one of the points that we talked about, that
So one of those accounts, yes. To answer your question in short, you can self-direct an HSA. There are requirements. I would prefer to have a consultation about it because it's not that it's a difficult process, but again, there's just more requirements to it than just typically like transferring an IRA to IRA. So because you have to have, a medical plan and everything to support that. So the answer in short is yes, you can self-direct an HSA and grow that account, and it is something that we offer. So
Mhm.
we can jump on a call. I feel like Michael, are you my client? I swear your name looks familiar.
Mm, might be, might be.
Are you still there,
Well,
Michael?
for those of you that are maybe watching the replay or on
Mm.
YouTube, you can't see our little chat. And actually, other clients can't even see our little Q&A
Oh,
chat.
okay.
So we can just mention that, like, his question was, can an HSA be used for investments like the SDIRA? If so, what does that process look like?
Mhm.
So as mentioned, yes, you can do it. It's a unique process of one of its own. So, well, always book a call.
Oh, he goes not yet.
Not yet. All right, Michael.
So what I hear, Michael, is you're scheduling a call for tomorrow.
Yeah, and
Um,
Michael, let me give you a little teaser, which actually Amber doesn't even know about this. So yeah, so it's March, and somehow Claudia hates us talking about sports, but we always go back to sports. So it's March Madness, yes. So for today only, anyone that's on this call, if you're looking to open a new account, a new IRA, self-directed, whatever the case,
Yeah.
or yeah, we're only a self-directed custodian, so you're opening a self-directed account. But if you open a new account with us today, we're actually going to give you 20% off uh
Of your setup fee.
your setup fee. Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you.
That is
Uh,
really nice.
yeah, so it's kind of our little March Madness sale. We are going to run a promotion for the rest of March, but not as good as today. Today only is going to be that 20% off.
20% off. All
Yeah.
right, I like
So
it.
the replay link will have the little discount code as well, just for the month of March. Then afterwards, I'm going to take it down. But if you mention March Madness, if you book on that link that's in the chat, mention March Madness in the code, you'll get 20% off your setup fees.
Awesome. All
So
right.
Amber,
Well,
be on the lookout for those discount
everyone
codes.
wanting their discount.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I love it. I'm glad that we're able to offer that.
Next question, kind of from Michael again, was, can I roll over my employer 401k to a self-directed IRA? Fidelity says I can partially roll over a certain amount of my 401k.
Okay. So again, every situation is unique. If you've spoke with your employer and you may have some eligible funds in there, maybe they were moved from a previous employer that you added to that current 401k, and now that section of the plan is eligible to move over to a self-directed vehicle. That's very possible. So when we talk tomorrow, then we could dig into that and then see. But if you spoke with Fidelity already and they said that part of that can be transferred over, then I'm assuming that it probably can with what little information that I have.
Looks like there's a message in the chat that people don't see a link in the chat. So can we drop the link one more time in the chat just so people can schedule if they're interested? Remember that code's going to be March Madness. And we'll give you that 20% off for booking your call today. And when you open your account here after your consultation. Let's see. There were a couple more questions. Can index futures be invested or traded?
I wasn't sure about that.
I'm not 100% sure on that one either, Michael.
Index funds, maybe he
Funds?
meant?
Yeah, maybe index funds.
Index funds be invested and traded.
Yeah. So that would probably be one of those through our banking partner,
Yeah.
right?
Through the platform,
through the
because
platform,
we can't
because
hold that type
we-
of
yeah,
investment.
exactly.
We're gonna
We wouldn't
focus
be
more
holding
on
it.
alternative assets, but
Mhm.
you are eligible to and use your self-directed account for different types of
Yeah.
Bitcoin, crypto, stocks,
Yeah, all of
mutual
those.
funds, well, all the things.
All the things which we've touched on before can be beautifully done through an LLC or through your account directly,
through your
depending
account.
on how active
Mhm.
you're trying to be. So it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
All right. So that one's that. And let's see. Any other questions? No, it looks like that we don't have any more questions. All right. So
All right.
I think we're kind of all set. We've answered all of our questions. Yeah, we've given a little understanding of what it looks like to be here at Horizon Trust, what those forms are going to look like and everything. So don't forget to follow along with us. Okay, so it looks like, okay.
Oh, two hosts.
Um,
Okay, I see.
Alicia, when you send the message, yeah, change that one. Yep, perfect. Thank you, Alicia. You're awesome. Sorry, everyone. We were sending a message just between the host and panelist on accident. That is being corrected right now, and it'll be sent to everyone momentarily. Again, if you're on YouTube, we'll drop that link on there as well. But yeah, is there anything else you have for us?
Yeah, no, I think we covered a lot. So I'm excited to speak with new clients and any existing clients that have additional questions. Again, all I can really continue to say is like we are here for you. We wanna help you. We want to just educate you on this great opportunity to really just take control of what you want to do with your money. I think Greg, I'll reference Greg again, but he says it best. No one cares about your money like you do. So this is the way to fully take control is to self-direct. You're going to care more than your financial advisor or anyone else, managing your platform. Take control of it and manage your own platform. Invest in something that you understand. And again, we can provide that vehicle for you to do so.
Yeah, no,
That's all I got.
That's fantastic. And you're right. Greg touches on that all the time. It's you do what you know.
Yeah, that too. Yep. Do what you know.
Do what you know, do what you understand. So it's great insight, great value. Amber, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we had a great conversation. Everyone, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks for Greg and his special guest. Those of you that are registered, you are already going to see everything. You should already be added to that next webinar in 2 weeks. So we can see you then. And hopefully you are available to join us at that time. So just be sure to come with your own questions. I will hopefully not be on camera, but if I am, it's okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. We hope you had a great time.